It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show. And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, and I'm telling you right now, subscribe today. Get on the Logan Power Show right now because your life is never going to be the same. Listen, please stay tuned. We got a guest with you. She's on fire for you, and I ain't going to hold you up. I know this is the place where you want to be, where you're going to be empowered and inspired. She has a company, Epiphany Hair. She is on the rise. Someone got to look out for her. She's her first time here in the Logan Power Show, the very only Mrs. Tierra Nicole Polite. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm fine. How are you, Calvin?
Doing great. Glad to have you here. Let's get into it. I know you've been in the hair business for quite some time. You are the owner, founder of Epiphany Hair Studio, your own salon that you started from the ground up. I know that you are also a realtor. You're a business coach and a mentor. So you have a ton of hats of talents that you do. So let's talk about Epiphany Hair. How did that come about? How did the name come to you when you first got started?
To be honest, the name Epiphany actually I was driving one day and I was trying to figure out a name, and I like to consult with God a lot. So to be honest, it just came in my spirit because Epiphany basically means manifestation. And so I really live a life of manifestation. I manifest everything I want. I'm actually about to open my own beauty school in Summerville, which we will be open about next week or two, called Epiphany Beauty Institute. So that's something new that I just did.
Great. That's exciting, having your own information to be able to make some things happen and get some things done. I know that it's a blessing to have your own spot to where you can make a difference and create things happening for yourself. So when you think about having your own spot and also creating your own school where you make even a greater of a difference, where did that come about? I know a lot of times when we think about ownership, people just think about just one phase, but you're thinking about even next phase into the school. What do you look to get from the school when you get that started for yourself?
Well, in the words of my pastor, K. Colleton, inside every man is the destiny of another man. And I actually live by that, and I believe that because we all are here temporarily, so we have to do something to impact the generation after us because they're going to be here after us. So I just really want to use my life as an example that if I could do it, that somebody else can do it. Growing up downtown, what they consider the hood, and beating the odds. I just want to use my life basically as an example, God's example, that if he did it for me, he can do it for you. And I have been able to, raise my two sons as a single parent. I just purchased my second home almost a year ago, and I have been really able to live, a great life off of my talent that was given to me because I actually started fixing hair when I was about 12 years old. So even, I lost my mom at 15 and, I went through a lot of things in life. I got divorced, but I really didn't let, life, beat me. So I just really want to use that to motivate other people and show them that you can make money in the beauty industry. You can be successful.
Absolutely. You can make money in anything that you do and you put your heart to. Coming from downtown Charleston, I know that's a stepping stone, but to be able to say you're purchasing your second home, we know definitely divorce is nothing pretty. So I know that you've been strong. You fought through it. 2 sons and successful. So when was the naysayers talking? I know a lot of times when you lose a parent at such a teenage year, pivotal year in your life, that's a challenge as enough because now it's the stigma like, okay, is she gonna fold?
Yes.
Say, hey, listen, this is too much. I don't think I even get through school right now. My mind is not even there yet. What was the drive that you say that got you through some of those challenges, those uphill battles?
Yeah, well, so it's going to be the stigma like, oh, her mom is gone. She's going to have a bunch of babies. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. But me personally, I always knew I was different since I was a young girl. I always, had my mind made up since I was a small little girl. So, seeing my mom, on her dying bed, I just really I do everything to make her proud. So that's where I get my strength and my motivation from. My mom was a very strong woman, a great, very strong woman. So I just everything I do is like, okay, mommy, I did it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just to make her proud. And I have a younger sister and an older brother that depends on me, and my sons depend on me. So I have to really, I have broken, generational curses in my family. I have been the first to do several things in my family. So I really did this for the generations after me, to be honest.
Got it. Doing the generations after you and breaking generational curses is something that you want to do for you and your family.
Yeah.
And so you got your store location, which is making some big headways, definitely making some uphill battles for you, and you're thriving, you're profiting in the pandemic, before the pandemic, after pandemic,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
and now you're going to the beauty school, and now you're going to the beauty school. What kind of things you're going to offer the beauty school so people can figure out what they can do if they want to pursue some of those avenues? What you're going to be
Okay.
offering?
So at Epiphany Beauty Institute, which is located in Summerville off of Bacon's Bridge Road, we will be offering cosmetology, nail technology, and aesthetics. We, will be a state board approved school that they will be able to come and get their hours, go to the state board, and take their test to be a licensed industry professional.
Wow, that's
Yes.
exciting. Anybody who's listening right now, that industry is booming. It is a lot
Yes.
of plethora of coins to give out, plenty of overflow of financial increase for your life. So definitely, if you're interested in that, you know who to contact. You
Yes.
get in contact with Mrs. Polite because she take care of you. Uh, so with you, since you are sort of changing the things when it comes to a lot of young people, because a lot of young people always say, when I get out of high school, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's always like I don't know,
Yes.
and it happens a lot. You don't know you're
Mhm.
destined for greatness. Some people say, like, yeah, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna do the military, I'll become an entrepreneur. Um, but sometimes when people say, well, I'm gonna get involved in the hair industry or
Mhm.
anything dealing with nails, cosmetology, there are levels to this thing. Uh,
It is.
so when did you started at 12 saying like, hey, I'm gonna get myself started, but when did you say to yourself, I knew my gift would make me put me on a serious entrepreneurial level?
Okay, so I, started doing hair and I was doing it all throughout high school. So to be honest, I was burnt out. So I actually graduated from Burke High School. I went to Trident Tech because I was tired of doing hair. I wanted to be a registered nurse. So I went to Trident Tech and I, went into the nursing program and it wasn't for me. So I got pregnant with my son and I'm like, you know what? I'm still doing hair. Why don't I make this a career? So I went to hair school and I dropped out one time and I had to go back. So I'm just sharing that to let people know that it's okay. It's okay to do it a second, third, fourth, how much ever time. So I went back to hair school and then I started to take it serious. I started working with my two stepsisters downtown at headquarters beauty salon. And I just really watched them and I do give them a lot of credit because they were great, business women. I learned a lot from them. They helped me out a lot. So I had a strong foundation. So I like to tell people that sometimes, where you start does play a big effect on where you go. So you have to be careful on who you trust, after you get out of school. That's very, very important. So I just ask that people get under great mentorship and great leadership. But I mean, after seeing that I can make money, seeing that they were successful, I use them as motivation and not competition. I kind of learned from them. They taught me, and then when it was time to go, it was time for me to go on my own. I prayed about it, and God made it all happen. And I just truly know and believe that God doesn't give the vision without giving you the resource. And I'm 10 years later with my own beauty salon. I thank God for that. And now I'm about to open my own beauty school. So God has definitely been good, no matter what I went through.
Got it. And so, knowing that, when yourself, knowing that you have gone through these levels, um, and knowing that when you see yourself going through these levels, you never really know your real true true self until later on. So knowing that when you drop out of school, that's even more of a greater impact. People don't
Yes.
realize that, when you say I am out of school, I'm gonna become a full-fledged adult. There's another level of challenge. So
It is.
drop out of school and you saying to yourself like, man, when I'm gonna get the break from myself, or what was the goal? Do you ever see yourself, since you're starting in school for yourself as well, becoming the actual, you're the owner of the school, so now it's a whole nother ball game.
Yes.
You're the teacher behind,
Yeah.
you're the teacher, you're the professor. um, do you believe that if dropping out of school in that particular part of your life, would you be here now where you are at this moment or not?
No, because I believe our path is ordered. I believe everything happens for a reason. So no. So that's why, I try to encourage young people to accept, you got to accept your trials and tribulations along with your blessings because they all come together to make this unique story for yourself. So no, I mean, anything I went through, like I don't regret going through anything at all. It always made me stronger. Always, everything. It taught me a lesson because sometimes, we got to take accountability for some of our choices and actions, and we got to learn not to put the blame on everybody else. So I mean that really helps me out a lot. I'm a very accountable person. I take accountability. I forgive myself and I move forward.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people need to know that when you're doing greatness, it does take levels to this thing. And I know that
Okay.
for yourself. So for you, when you dropped out, did you go back to school? Say, hey, I'm gonna go back to school and then I'm gonna go back into, owning, or you just say, hey, I'm going straight into owning my own salon and started working?
No, I dropped out and then I went back after I had my son because that's another motivation. So I'm 20 years old. I'm living on the project, the housing authority downtown, and I got my baby now. So now it's not really about me now. I have to make, when you look at your kids, most, parents, they push you to be great. So now my son is about 2 weeks old. I'm back in school. And this time around, it's not about me. So even like, I was missing days and I wanted to give up, but no, I pushed through. So the second time, my son is what got me through. So that was my motivation for that.
I
Yeah,
got
it
you.
was the mom. Yeah, he needed mommy.
I got you. Now, how far have you gone in education?
I actually have a bachelor's degree in business administration that I got in 2011 from Limestone College. And I never completed my master's degree. I did go to the University of Phoenix for my master's in education, but I dropped out again. And that time around was like, I had a lot of student loans and I sat on the bed one night. I was tired and I'm like, Tierra, are you even going to use this degree? And I'm like, no. So I just dropped out. And it's okay. Like, I did not feel like a failure. I'm like, hold up. I got $100,000 of student loans already. Tierra, are you going to ever use this master's degree? And I said no. And I just did my withdrawal papers and I went to bed and I was fine.
I got you. I got you. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, how like life will give curveballs to you. Yeah, she dropped out of high school, but her motivation
No,
was
I dropped out of beauty school,
be back.
not high school. I
Be
dropped out of beauty school, then
school,
went back.
did school, then
Yeah,
went back. And the thing
yeah,
about it is that understanding that when you drop out does not mean that you can't come back. I've always said that
yeah,
a setback is always great for a great comeback, for your
yeah,
life. I know a lot of times when people say, "Oh man, you dropped out, you ain't gonna be nothing," and you never know that people's lives can take a turn. Now, think about the success. When did How long has your company been together in business so far?
10 years. My salon has been open 10 years this year.
Got it. So now you
10, yes.
10 whole years. So looking
10.
back, and talking to yourself from 10 years ago, when you look at how far you've come, um, can you tell yourself 10 years ago, was it all worth it?
It was definitely all worth it. It was definitely all worth it. So, and to be honest with you, it hasn't even been a rough 10 years. Even when business was slow, like you, I mean, like you got to have crazy faith. You got to be rooted in God, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna be honest, that's the only way that I feel that I made it through, because without him, we trick ourselves out of things every time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I can honestly say, and I just honest, like, the pandemic is when I made my most money ever in the beauty industry, during the pandemic. When people were laid off, I made the most. My accountant was amazing. I made the most money ever in my life. Like, I really, made well over six. I mean, 6 figures. So, I mean, I'm just, the industry is just so we are pandemic proof, because my first home I bought in 2011. We were in a recession. We're recession proof. It's like, it's just, I mean, the proof is all there. So it's there. It's there. But God, I mean, that's all. That's all I can. That's the only thing I can give credit to. Like, just, having that. Yeah, you got to be rooted in Him. You got to stand on solid ground, and you got to believe His promises. Like, even when I want to say, well, this might not work. Like your Rama tell you, late in the midnight hour. Late in
Absolutely.
the midnight hour. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, late in the midnight hour is where you understand you get some of your best
Yes.
information. Understand this. I believe the pandemic helped a lot of believers see light at the end of the tunnel. You have to go back in the Bible, think about when Joseph was given a dream. He said, 7 years, it's going to be great. 7 years is going to be the famine. God gave him the deciphering, letting Pharaoh know what that dream was. And understand this, Egypt was on top of the hill because during those 7 years when it was good, they learned how to save under Joseph's tutelage and under his
Yes.
leadership to be able to be very successful. So no, a lot of times when people say, well, it's a pandemic, well, billionaires got very, very much on top of the hill during the
Yes.
pandemic. So a lot of times when people say uh, it's over, we adapt to change, and you have to be a
Yes.
game changer to be successful. You have to know
Yes.
when the weather changes, you already making 2 steps ahead. That way, you're already knowing the next move. So
Exactly.
you have the school, which is coming real
Yes.
soon. You have your salon. You have your 2 sons who are your motivation. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
so when this is coming, this is your empire, your enterprise. Is there anything else should we be looking down the road and saying to ourselves, "Oh man, she's done this. This is her next level of success." Anything next going down the road for you?
I don't know. It could be multiple schools. The industry, it's just that I just really had to accept the fact that I've served in like every capacity in the beauty industry. I'm good at it. I have a heart for it. I understand it. And it's like, so I'm just going to take that. It could be more salons opening up. There could be, you know, some schools all over the United States. I just really, at this time, it's all in God's hands. So whatever his plan is, I'm just doing the work. So this is
Got
definitely not this is just the beginning of something and definitely not the end.
Okay. Well, since this is the beginning and not the end, I want you right now to tell people how good God is to you. What has He done for you in your life to make you successful? And how can people survive when all hell breaks loose? And then the final thing is I want you to tell people why they should choose your school and why they should choose your business. Is that good?
Okay. Yes.
All right. Well, the floor is
So,
yours.
okay. So, I mean, God has been good. Just coming out from a child, he's just been good. I mean, it's just obstacle after obstacle, trial after trial, tribulation after tribulation. I always come out on top, even when, people think you don't deserve it. And I just live life like this. I'm not perfect, but I just believe in harvest. Like, you reap what you sow. I don't care what religion, who's your higher power. That's life, like literally. So anything that I get back, I just sow solid seeds. I don't have to like tell people what I do, but I'm that person. Like, I will give you the shirt off my back. I have a heart of gold. And I really believe that God blesses people to bless his people. And I'm one of his people because God knows that I'm not going to fumble my blessing. God knows that if he gives me this, I'm going to take care of his people. So I always knew that God would definitely, I mean, I always had favor. I've had, people prophesize over me about the mantle over my life. I just always know. I know I'm different. I'm different. I'm different. I know that. So, I mean, God is good, and I just really can't even explain it. My life is just an example. I beat the odds. Like, I mean, I'm from downtown Charleston. There's really no other African American woman that has a beauty school in the Tri-County area. There may have been before my time, but at this current time, I'm the only one. So I'm proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself. As far as you said, choosing why should they choose my business, there was something else in between you asked me.
Choosing why they should choose your business,
Okay.
and then, like, for instance, like, how can you get through when all hell breaks loose?
Yeah. So when all hell breaks loose, you can't be moved because that's where your biggest test come from. I think that all hell breaks loose before you get your biggest blessing. And I'm gonna tell you one thing: before my school opened, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. I was not moved by what happened. I smiled, and I think a lot of people was just like, "Tierra, you're going through all this," and you so I'm like, it's just a part of my story. It's gonna be a memory in a little while. Everything is a memory. So it's just like when all hell breaks loose, I still trust God. My faith does not waver. I don't care. Like he's gonna make a way. I just truly believe that God is gonna make, excuse me, my phone did something. I just truly believe that God is gonna make a way no matter what. So y'all, when all hell breaks loose, so trust God. His promises are yes and amen. God always comes through. You cannot, I don't trust man. I don't Man will tell you they'll do something, but God has never ever failed me. And I know he will never fail me. So as far as my businesses, I mean, at Epiphany Hair Studio, I have a team of amazing stylists. We have a great reputation. We do what we do. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I have stylists. Most of my stylists are making six figures. Um, Probably only one of my stylists have not purchased their home yet. So I'm proud of myself because when they came here, they all have grown, and that's my job. Everybody has to grow. I can't be the only one winning. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So I'm hard on my team. I'm very specific on who I hire in my business. And I consult with God. I have to feel you out. I'm big on energy. I just don't allow anyone in my space. I can't really do that. So, I mean, definitely come check us out. Everybody, the city knows about us. We get good business, and I want to thank my city for always supporting me. And as far as Epiphany Beauty Institute, why should they choose me? Because at the end of the day, my work speaks for itself. My students love me. I'm just a walking testimony. I just want to, like, they're going to come to school. You're going to have problems. You're going to be short on money. Your car's going to break. You might have problems with your boyfriend. And so I don't promise them that you're not going to go do these things. But what I want to do is be there for support to show them that we're going to get through these things. I ask God every day because this is next level for me. So every morning I pray God to give me the strength because it's like this is really a ministry for me, to be honest. Like my pastor always tried to get me into ministry, but I really feel that this right here is where I'm going to be able to save some people and do God's work and just like get some people across. I'm gonna bring them over with me, and that's the goal. I'm trying to birth out successful stylists. No matter what they say, I plan on giving my students like home buyer, like get people to come in to prepare them for home ownership. We want to talk about credit. We want to talk about starting their business. So those are things that some schools don't incorporate that I want to incorporate in my curriculum so that when my students leave school, they're ready. So that's why I think they should choose the Epiphany Beauty Institute. No, we cannot receive financial aid at this time because with any school, you have to be open 1 to 2 years for accreditation. But my programs are relatively cheap and it's affordable, and we do offer payment plan options. But I just truly believe that God is going to send his people. There's a certain people appointed to me, and he'll send those people. So I'm just trusting and believing God for his promises.
Amen. We trust and believe God's promises as well.
Amen.
We know Miss Tierra Nicole Polite live at the Logan Power Show. She is the owner and the one and only Epiphany Hair, her salon. She has her beauty college that's coming out real soon. Hey, you guys keep tuned. You keep watching. You keep the faith. We're live at the Logan Power Show where we know that God hears prayer. God makes things happen, and we walk by faith, not by sight. We thank y'all for
Amen.
watching. And y'all have a blessed day.
Bye.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.